Justice in the land of the pharaohs. 7 revealing facts about law in ancient Egypt. By analyzing archaeological clues, historians have made fascinating discoveries about the legal system in ancient Egypt. Unlike civilizations such as Babylon and Sumer, whose written legal codes provide insights into their legal systems and social values, ancient Egypt requires alternative approaches to understanding its legislation. Although there is no comprehensive legal code found, existing documents offer insight into the rules that govern daily transactions, and texts such as the Sebayt provide insight into the relationship between religion and law. The basis of ancient Egyptian law was based on the principles of Ma'at, personified by the goddess who represents truth, balance, order, and justice. The pharaoh's role as ruler was to ensure the preservation and enforcement of these laws. Just as a country's laws must conform to its constitution, laws in ancient Egypt must follow the principles of Ma'at. The Vizier of Justice, also known as the priest of Ma'at, played a central role in the legal system. During the Old Kingdom, priests served as judges, while in the Middle Kingdom, professional judges were in charge of courts throughout Egypt. From the first written records of the Old Kingdom to Bakenranef's rapid legal reforms in the Ptolemaic period, the history of law in ancient Egypt holds surprising facts. Number 1. Law in ancient Egypt. Guilty until proven innocent. In ancient Egypt, the judicial system differed significantly from the system currently used. At that time, an individual accused of a crime was considered guilty until he could prove his innocence, which often resulted in different punishments. This approach was based on the principles of Ma'at, which were considered essential for establishing balance and order in Egyptian society. Ma'at represented cosmic harmony, justice and truth, and served as the basis for the proper behavior of individuals. Although the judicial process underwent changes throughout the history of ancient Egypt, Ma'at and other mythological conceptions remained central to the concept of justice. Witnesses played a key role in Egyptian courts, and giving false testimony was considered a serious offense. However, jurors, as we know them today, were not part of the legal systems in ancient Egypt. Instead, the Kenbet, councils of elders, were responsible for adjudicating a wide variety of cases relating to minor issues and local disputes. Although not exactly equivalent to modern juries, Kenbet functioned as community courts that helped resolve local problems. More serious cases, such as allegations of tomb robbing or murder, were referred to a higher court overseen by the vizier, who was responsible for administering justice on the pharaoh's behalf. Number 2. Judicial hierarchy. Ancient Egypt had a hierarchical judicial system, in which different bodies dealt with legal issues according to their severity. In rural areas, the council of elders known as Seru acted as judges, tasked with resolving lower-impact disputes. In urban areas, the council of elders called Kenbet met daily to deal with a wide range of legal issues, ranging from property disputes to criminal allegations. Cases that could not be resolved in Seru or Kenbet were referred to the imperial court called Jajat. This court had the responsibility to deal with more serious or politically sensitive cases. Pharaohs played a fundamental role in the ancient Egyptian justice system, being the main holders of legal authority. They appointed a vizier to oversee the practical administration of justice. According to Jan Assmann in The Mind of Egypt, justice in ancient Egypt was seen as a search for harmony, a life in conformity with the connective structures that made community possible. It was the pharaoh's responsibility to ensure this harmony and maintain Ma'at, balance and cosmic order. To fulfill this role, pharaohs had supreme power to enact laws, resolve disputes, and appoint officials charged with dispensing justice. This system reflected the Egyptians' belief in the importance of justice for maintaining order and stability in society. Number 3. Scribes played a fundamental role in the legal processes of ancient Egypt. Although no written legal codes have been found, historical sources indicate that scribes were key players in the judicial system of the time. In addition to providing procedural information, they had the important task of drafting wills and other legal contracts. Furthermore, scribes also played a crucial role in documenting trials, one of the most important functions in the legal process. One of the most famous cases in the history of ancient Egypt involves the assassination of Pharaoh Ramses III in a foiled plot to place the Egyptian prince Pentuer on the throne. Ramses III was the second pharaoh of the 20th dynasty and ruled in a troubled period. His wife Bakenranef, a senior court official, led the conspiracy. Although Ramesses III was murdered, the plot was discovered, and the subsequent trial became one of the best documented in the history of ancient Egypt. The Turin judicial papyrus records the trial conducted by 15 magistrates appointed by Ramses IV. The trial took place over 5 sessions and resulted in the testimony and execution of 28 people. This historic trial highlights the importance of written documentation in law enforcement in ancient Egypt, as well as the skill of scribes in recording these important cases. They played a vital role in preserving legal history and ensuring justice in the ancient Egyptian judicial system. Number 4. Gender equality laws. Ancient Egypt's gender equality laws represented a notable achievement in its legal system. During this period, men and women were treated equally before the law. Women enjoyed the same rights as men in the courts and had the autonomy to buy, sell, and inherit property. These legal achievements were preserved during Ptolemaic Greek rule. However, with the Roman conquest of Egypt following the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, these progressive laws were lost, and the guarantee of equality in property would only be seen again in the 19th centuries, in Europe and America. Equality also extended to marriage laws. Both men and women could jointly own property in marriage, and both sexes had the right to initiate divorce. Although men were required to pay a fine for divorce, women did not have this same obligation. In the event that adultery led to divorce, the guilty party was required to renounce their share of the joint property. Although these ancient Egyptian laws represented a progressive advance compared to other ancient civilizations, it is important to highlight that there was still a large social gap in the treatment of men and women in Egyptian society. Although women enjoyed legal protection, significant social inequality between the sexes persisted. Number 5. The role of priests in the legal system. The role of priests in the legal system of ancient Egypt was extremely important throughout its long history. They played the role of judges, which reflects the centrality of religion in the legal system of the time. In Egyptian mythology, the gods were believed to reside in temples, and priests, as intermediaries between the gods and humans, possessed the ability to communicate with the gods. This gave priests divine authority to deal with legal matters. During the New Kingdom period, around 1550 before Christ, oracles gained great importance in the legal system. In this system, priests carried a public statue of a god and, through movements or pointing to a document, offered answers to the legal questions presented. In addition to dealing with legal cases, oracles were also consulted on matters of state importance, such as military plans. A documented example of priests' involvement in the legal system is a papyrus that describes a trial that took place in the 2nd century before Christ. In this trial, 3 priests acted as judges in a land dispute. The event took place during the Ptolemaic period, and a state official was also present to oversee the process. This case illustrates that, even after Alexander the Great's conquest of Egypt, traditional legal procedures and customs were maintained. Furthermore, this trial offers a detailed look at the differences between the judicial system of ancient Egypt and that of ancient Greece. While jury trials in Greece emphasized the importance of democratic governance in Athenian society, the Egyptian legal system reflected the belief that priests were capable of accessing absolute truth. The role of priests as judges in ancient Egypt highlights the intersection between religion and justice, highlighting the reverence given to priests as holders of divine authority in the legal system of the time. Number 6. Legal reforms. There are signs of rapid legal reforms during the reign of some pharaohs in Egyptian history. A controversial account, currently disputed, records that Bakenranef implemented sweeping land reforms and abolished debt slavery. This account dates back to Diodorus, an ancient Greek historian, and historians have speculated that he may have invented this narrative to support his own ideological positions. Unfortunately, the original text by the historian Hecataeus of Abdera, on which Diodorus was based to make this statement, was lost over time. The existence of these reforms and their attribution to Bakenranef remain under debate due to a lack of direct evidence and uncertainty about the reliability of ancient accounts. The absence of Hecataeus' original text makes it difficult to verify Diodorus' claims. It is important to recognize the complexity of ancient Egyptian history and the need to critically analyze the available sources. Although there are valuable historical records about the period, it is essential to exercise caution when interpreting fragmentary information and considering different perspectives before drawing definitive conclusions about the reforms attributed to Bakenranef. Number 7. Law in ancient Egypt. Tomb robbing was common. Tomb robbing was a common practice in ancient Egypt, which may surprise many people. From the beginning of the dynastic period, this problem became so serious that measures were taken to prevent theft, including in the construction of the first pyramids, such as that of King Djoser. A vivid example of this systemic nature of tomb robbing is the confession recorded in the Leopold Amherst papyrus by a stonemason named Amenpenefer, accused of robbing a tomb dated 1110 before Christ. In this confession, he describes paying bribes to avoid punishment and continue grave robbing. This confession also reveals a lack of concern for ma'at, the fundamental principle of law in ancient Egypt. According to Egyptian mythology, following the principles of ma'at was essential to passing through the hall of judgment and reaching the afterlife. Some historians have suggested that the decrease in religious belief throughout ancient Egypt was a factor in the rise in tomb robbing, but this claim is disputed. It is important to recognize that many civilizations have behaviors that contradict widely accepted religious views, being motivated by more immediate concerns. The rise in tomb robbing in ancient Egypt can be attributed to a combination of factors such as opportunism, greed, and attraction to valuable treasures found in tombs. This widespread practice of tomb robbing in ancient Egypt left a lasting impact on the field of Egyptology, as many tombs were looted over the centuries, resulting in the loss of precious artifacts and valuable information about the culture and history of ancient Egypt. So, what did you think of today's video? Did you already know any of these surprising facts about the law in ancient Egypt? What impressed you most? I hope this video was helpful. If you have anything to add, please share it with us in the comments section. And if you liked this video and haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any of the intriguing videos we post every week. And if you want to learn a little more, be sure to click on one of these videos we are suggesting for you. Remember, to know the past is to understand the present and prepare for the future. Until the next video.